Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. Hope everyone's well wherever you are. It took me a while to actually get around to making this video because I had so many ideas in my head. I was trying to make a decision of what to discuss, so I didn't want to discuss too many things at once. But yeah, a lot of time I have like ideas overload, many ideas on my mind at the same time. But anyway, I thought I definitely want to make a video if I can, or a few videos if I can. Today is the 29th of October, which is exactly 2 months since, unfortunately, my 40th birthday, because I'm disappointed about turning older, especially because I would have liked to have achieved more. So anyway, but these are a list of some of the things that I would have liked to achieve, and also my plans for the future as well. I didn't quite get around to doing a lot of stuff that I wanted to do for dyslexic empowerment and Black empowerment as planned, and I can't imagine myself doing so in the next couple of days. But anyway, just before I go into the list of some of my goals and ideas and some of the things I wanted to achieve before, I just wanted to remind people, like from the dyslexic community, especially possibly from the Black community or other communities, but generally from the dyslexic community, about an idea a goal I had where I want to get dyslexic people together using dyslexic creativity to create things for Halloween. I know it's only 2 days away technically, and it's nearly 11 o'clock here, so it's kind of just over a day away, really, actually, in a way. So it's not a huge amount of time, but a few ideas I had was like to make a website, possibly to have on YouTube, and other forms of social media, showcasing dyslexic creativity by making things like dyslexic people making things like masks or decorations or creating stories, or all sorts of things like that. So I'd love for as many people from the dyslexic community as possible to get involved. I'd love for the Dyslexic Advantage, Made by Dyslexia, the Yale Centre for Dyslexia and Creativity, and groups like that to come together, which is another idea I have, which is to get them together. But anyway, the intro went on for long enough, so I'm going to crack on with a list of some ideas. But yeah, if you do get around to doing that, it'd be great. I don't know if I'm going to reach that goal of trying to get dyslexic people to create those creative designs and stories and things like that, and pictures and whatnot for Halloween. Oh, it's only 2 days away, but I hope we do. I hope you can see me better now. But please let me know if that makes a difference. I'll just put this light on, ring light or what it's called. Anyway, yeah. So if I hope to promote that idea. Again, I only have couple of days to do that, but yeah, I don't know if anyone can build a website in that much time, but maybe it would have to be done in November and backdated. But anyway, cracking on with my list of ideas, here goes. So number one, on my birthday, I really wanted to become preferably financially independent, but also to have my own house. Rather than embarrassing, I still live with my mum, which is a bit of a shame. I was thinking, like, as the saying goes, as I often mention it, like, life begins at 40. So I was hoping to have my own house, become financially independent. I would have loved to have grown my YouTube channel enough in that time, like to just earn enough to at least live on. But obviously it wasn't to be. But yeah, I don't know if that's a pipe dream, like to one day own my own home, especially the cost of houses nowadays, and the fact, unfortunately, I'm unemployed. So hopefully I can grow this channel. Another thing I hoped to do was to set up, like in the past, I was very interested in setting my own business and like donated some of the profits to charity. But in this case, I wanted to set up a sort of M.K.S enterprises, which I talked about a while back before my birthday, so just over 2 months ago, which would seek to, the goal would be basically, to bring together what I call the six, which I mentioned in previous videos. So basically support entrepreneurs, support people to become entrepreneurs from developing countries or former colonies, and also including Latin America, Ireland, indigenous people from the Americas and Asia and Africa and Australasia and places like that. So to help them to work together, network together somehow. So I'd love to hear people's suggestions as well, how that could go. But yeah, those are a few of my goals that I had, and to start as many projects as I could. Number two, recently, looking to the future, I've thought about how like an idea for it. The idea came a bit late because I probably planned it a bit late now. But again, it'll probably have to be done in November, which is a bit annoying because it wouldn't be quite Black History Month or Dyslexia Awareness Month, what I call them, Black History and Empowerment and Dyslexia Awareness and Empowerment Months respectively. But so maybe it would have to be like backdated, so to speak, if you know what I mean. Or maybe it'll have to be done next year, but planning it for next year. But it'd be great, I think, to see like a Dragon's Den version of specifically for the black community, and another one for dyslexics, and maybe one for people who are both black and dyslexic. And maybe the panelists, the entrepreneurs themselves who are investing, sometimes it could be that they themselves are dyslexic or black respectively, or in some cases both. So there could be lots of different ideas around that. So I'd love to hear what different ideas people have around that. But yeah, so basically a Dragon's Den specifically for the black British community. Maybe African countries kind of have their own version, but already. But yeah, if something like that hasn't already been done, again, similar for dyslexics. And sometimes the entrepreneurs themselves who go on, who take part, whether it's on TV or not, different organisations could host it. Maybe like CEOs, chief executive officers, and MDs, and potential private equity or venture capitalists or people like that could host it, where they interview potential entrepreneurs and decide whether they're going to invest. So it could be like captains of industry who are not necessarily black or dyslexic themselves, but are investing in black and or dyslexic entrepreneurs. Like even people like maybe if Sainsbury's or ASDA or different companies like that, the heads of those companies or managers from those companies, if they had enough time and they wanted to and they were interested in that idea, maybe could do so. Maybe they could be televised, or maybe there could be something about it with like local councils or things like that. So I'd love to see how that idea can develop. Like local politicians and councillors could get involved in that, perhaps. And number 3, I'd love to promote libertarianism, as I often say. Number 4, I'd love to promote peace as well, and look at ways, to limit conflict and confrontation, and to get dyslexic people out of crime. Going a bit, but yeah, to get dyslexic people out of crime and things like that, and criminality, and also help maybe the members of the black community as well and other disadvantaged groups to turn their lives around and things like that, and possibly to work with people who like. I think it'd be great if in the future I could work with people from the black community and dyslexic community to talk about how to inspire people and things like that, and look at what organisations and companies can do to support such communities, like offering scholarships, investing in businesses, startups, and all that from black and or dyslexic people, respectively. I know I've left the idea a bit late because it's at the end of October, so it's a shame I sort of came up with these ideas a bit later, or wasn't organised enough to do so earlier. Like I think a lot of time I'll come up with an idea and think I wish I'd thought of that earlier, and things like that. But yeah, so I'd love to work on those sorts of goals. And one of the things I'd love to do, if there was a way, is like tax the. I don't normally like taxes because I like libertarianism and giving people choices, but there is one tax that I agree with, which is, it's probably the only tax I really like, which it would be a tax on the wars and weapons trade, or military industrial complex and weapons trade around the world. If that was agreed internationally and they were taxed at like 10%, possibly off their revenue, or even or off their profits or whatever, possibly even off their revenue, then I think that could, if that was poured into, like some people say, if you just had 10% of that, you could feed the whole world. So you could use it to provide clean water, access to food, electricity, and all sorts of things, especially for people in developing countries, or even cutting people's fuel bills, even in the UK or elsewhere, or even in America or elsewhere, in developed countries as well. Number 5, again, I would love to support members of the black and or dyslexic community to, respectively, to achieve their goals and ambitions and things like that, and like work with people and like come up with ideas about how politicians, councillors, organisations, even businesses could invest in communities and support them, even banks, like investing in their startups and things like that, or our startups, respectively, as dyslexic. Number 6, I would love to look into, as a fan of Italian football, as I often say, I would love to see Italian football raise awareness, Italy raise awareness about dyslexia through football, and also improve relations with the black community. And I'd love to travel to Italy in the future. It's on my bucket list to hi Angela. Yeah, so sorry if this video's gone a bit too long, but yeah, thanks for getting involved, Angela. But yeah, it's on my bucket list to go to Italy, and I'd love to share these ideas and look at how Italy can tackle racism through football and improve relations with the black community, and also raise awareness of learning disabilities such as dyslexia and ADHD. And number 7, also similar for Celtic. Number 8, I'd love to hear your opinions and like I say, and network with other members, with people with learning disabilities, and members of the black community or other minorities. Look how ethnic minorities and other groups can work together, disadvantaged groups, to empower people as much as possible. Number 9, again, yeah, I'd love to look into like how organize companies like Starbucks or Sainsbury's or ASDA, like superstores or different big companies, or just companies generally, can help black-owned and dyslexic startups or more black and record dyslexic people to get into business, or to be supported in areas like STEM, or to offer scholarships to the top universities. I'm not really academic myself, but I think it'd be cool to see them in those sorts of areas. And number 10, as ever, I would love to hear your views about this mad guy here, and each idea I came up with, like which were your least favorite and your most favorite, or what do you think generally, like what do you think about the idea of the dragon's dens for the black and three-quarter dyslexic community? How do you think it could work? What do you think what ideas do you think should be developed? Like, do you think the panelists should be black and three-quarter dyslexic respectively themselves, or do you think it could be mixed up? Like sometimes the panelists could be so, and sometimes it could just be the entrepreneurs who are seeking investment who are black and three-quarter dyslexic respectively. But yeah, I'd love to see how what you would do with those ideas. And I am out. Peace and out.